Do your ankles swell so much at night that bending your foot feels difficult or even painful? I'm not referring to mild puffiness after a long day or a flight. I'm talking about legs that feel heavy like stone, skin stretched tight, and those deep, lingering marks left by your socks, what we clinically call pitting edema. Be honest with me for a moment. Does this swelling show up almost every evening when you finally sit down or lie in bed? Listen carefully, because this level of fluid buildup is not a harmless inconvenience. It is a clear warning sign that your vascular system is under strain. When fluid pools in the lower legs, gravity begins to overpower circulation, slowing blood flow dramatically. This condition is known as venous stasis, and it creates the ideal environment for dangerous blood clots, including deep vein thrombosis or DVT. This is a serious circulatory issue, not a cosmetic one. Most people in this situation have already tried the usual advice: elevating the legs, soaking the feet, or drastically cutting salt intake, and yet the swelling keeps returning. That's because those approaches address only what you can see, not what is actually causing the problem. What's missing is a structured nighttime protocol that does more than manage fluid. It actively reverses the process while you sleep. I'm going to walk you through a definitive 7-step bedtime vascular reset designed to detoxify, strengthen, and mechanically move excess fluid out of your legs before your head even touches the pillow. When done correctly, many people wake up with feet that feel flatter, lighter, and flexible enough to slide easily into their shoes without discomfort. This protocol targets the root cause, chronic venous insufficiency. And I want you to pay close attention to this. Fix number 7 is a clinical secret. It involves a powerful natural botanical used by specialists to strengthen vein walls from the inside out. Do not skip it. We begin with the internal foundation. The common advice to simply reduce sodium intake is often incomplete. Edema is frequently driven by a severe imbalance between key electrolytes, sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Your kidneys, which regulate most of your body's fluid balance, depend on a precise ratio of these minerals to function properly. When you are deficient in potassium or magnesium, your cells instinctively cling to sodium, and wherever sodium goes, water follows. The result is that pressurized fluid pooling we recognize as swelling. That is why this first step is a cellular pre-sleep flush, designed to rebalance fluids before you lie down. About 60 minutes before your intended bedtime, you begin step 1, which requires magnesium and potassium. Magnesium citrate acts as a natural smooth muscle relaxer. It helps release tension in the walls of your blood vessels, particularly the veins we are trying to unload, and supports proper cellular hydration. I recommend 1 full teaspoon, roughly 300 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium, mixed into 12 ounces of water. The key addition here is potassium bitartrate, commonly known as cream of tartar. Potassium is the primary regulator of fluid inside your cells, working in direct opposition to sodium, which operates mainly outside the cell. By increasing potassium availability, you send a clear signal for cells to release excess sodium and water. Add a generous pinch, about 1/4 teaspoon, of cream of tartar to your magnesium drink. Sip this mixture slowly, about 60 minutes before sleep. Have you ever noticed how swelling seems worse on nights when hydration and minerals are off balance? This step directly addresses that imbalance. Timing matters. Taking this drink while you are still upright gives your kidneys and vascular system a head start, allowing fluid movement to begin before gravity is no longer assisting. Our goal is to mobilize fluid while posture still works in your favor. If you have any known kidney disease, you must consult your physician before significantly increasing magnesium or potassium intake. For everyone else, this is the foundational step. Your body is now internally prepared, but internal correction alone is not enough when swelling has become chronic. We also need to mechanically stimulate the veins. When blood and fluid are allowed to pool in the ankles day after day, veins become distended, sluggish, and lose the tone required to push blood upward against gravity. This is where we use a powerful, natural vascular stimulus known as the hunting response, achieved through thermal contrast. This rapid alternation between heat and cold forces the veins to contract and relax repeatedly, acting as a strong external pump. For this, you will need 2 basins. Fill one with water as warm as you can comfortably tolerate. Fill the second with the coldest tap water available, adding 5 to 6 trays of ice cubes so it is unmistakably cold. The protocol is straightforward. First, immerse both feet in the hot water for 3 minutes. This causes pronounced vasodilation. The veins open, drawing stagnant blood and fluid toward the surface. Then immediately transfer your feet into the ice-cold water for a full 60 seconds. This is the most challenging part, so focus on slow, deep breathing. The intense cold triggers powerful vasoconstriction. The veins clamp down, actively squeezing blood and trapped fluid out of the lower legs and back toward the central circulation. Repeat this full cycle 3 times, 3 minutes hot, 1 minute cold, ending with a final 1-minute cold immersion. The immediate benefit of finishing with a cold immersion is profound. As soon as you remove your feet from the cold water, the skin begins to warm rapidly. This triggers a powerful reflexive opening of the veins, a true vascular flush. Fresh, oxygen-rich blood is pulled into the lower legs while waste products and displaced fluid are carried away. Clinically, this is one of the fastest ways to manually decongest the lower limbs before going to bed. At this point, the system has been flushed and the veins have been stimulated. But gravity is still working against you. Simply resting your legs on a pillow is passive and inefficient. To truly move trapped fluid, you need a dynamic component. This is where your calf muscles come in, often referred to as your second heart. These muscles are designed to squeeze the veins that run through them and actively push blood upward. This is known as the muscle pump mechanism. The technique we use is based on a restorative yoga position called Viparita Karani, or legs up the wall. Lie flat on your back near a wall and scoot your hips as close to the wall as comfortably possible. Then swing your legs straight up so your heels rest against the wall, forming an L shape. This position places your lower legs above the level of your heart, allowing gravity to assist fluid return. But here is the critical refinement: you cannot remain completely still. Every 60 seconds, perform an active ankle movement. First, point your toes strongly toward the ceiling for a count of 5. This creates a stretch through the calves and Achilles. Then immediately flex your feet, pulling your toes back toward your head for another count of 5. This strong contraction actively compresses the venous reservoirs within the calf muscles. Repeat this point and flex cycle 10 times per minute for a total of 5 minutes. This is active gravitational drainage. The combination of muscle pumping and inversion creates the highest possible pressure gradient, pushing fluid from the ankles into the larger veins of the thighs and pelvis, where the central circulatory system can effectively manage it. Have you ever noticed how much lighter your legs feel when you actively move them instead of just resting them? That difference is exactly what this step exploits. 5 minutes of this routine is comparable to receiving a deep, active lymphatic drainage massage for the entire lower body. Make these 5 minutes non-negotiable every single night. Now that the fluid has been drained, the next step is to strengthen the plumbing. Why does fluid leak into your tissues in the first place? Because the walls of the smallest blood vessels, the capillaries, become weak, porous, and leaky over time due to inflammation and oxidative damage. To address this, we need a topical agent that tightens and tones these fragile vessels. We go beyond a basic moisturizer and use concentrated botanical venotonics combined with a carrier oil. Cypress essential oil is particularly valued for its venotonic properties, helping reduce vessel permeability and strengthen capillary walls. This step is the structural repair phase of the rub, and precision matters here. You will need 5 drops of cypress essential oil. To that, add 5 drops of rosemary essential oil. Rosemary is a powerful circulatory stimulant. It increases local blood flow, helping ensure that the fluid we just mobilized does not immediately settle back into the tissue. Together, these oils support venous tone and sustained drainage. Mix the 10 drops total with 1 tablespoon of a carrier oil, such as fractionated coconut oil or almond oil. This is not a quick application. It is a deliberate, targeted massage. Sit comfortably and extend your legs. Using a small amount of the oil blend, begin at your toes and massage upward with firm, steady strokes, moving from the feet to the ankles and then up through the calves. Always massage in the direction of the heart. This upward motion manually assists venous return. Spend extra time on the lower half of the calves, where fluid tends to pool the most, and stop just below the crease behind the knee. This technique stimulates local nerve endings, drives the active botanical compounds deeper into the tissue, and delivers the anti-inflammatory effect needed to repair leaky capillaries. At this stage, the veins are toned and the fluid has been drained. Have you ever applied a cream downward instead of upward without realizing you were working against your circulation? Direction makes a measurable difference. Now we protect the work you've done throughout the night. Step 5 involves compression, but this is where many people unknowingly make a serious mistake. If you have been prescribed 20 to 30 millimeters of mercury compression stockings for daytime use, that is appropriate for when you are upright. However, you should never sleep in high-grade compression garments. When you lie down, blood pressure equalizes throughout the body. Heavy compression at night can dangerously restrict circulation, creating a tourniquet-like effect. What we want instead is low-grade therapeutic compression. Light travel or flight socks rated between 8 and 15 millimeters of mercury provide the ideal pressure. This level of compression maintains the reduction in swelling achieved by the previous steps without restricting blood flow while you are horizontal. These socks apply a gentle, continuous squeeze that prevents tissue from expanding and reabsorbing fluid while your kidneys continue processing excess fluid overnight. How you wear them matters. Ankle or calf-height socks are sufficient. Most importantly, check the top elastic band. If it leaves a deep indentation in your skin, it is too tight for nighttime use and can act as a harmful constriction point. Roll the band down or choose a more relaxed pair. Compression should always be graduated, never concentrated at the top. Put the socks on immediately after completing the oil massage. This locks in the fluid reduction. At this point, you are 5 steps into the protocol and nearly ready for bed. But before you get comfortable, there is one very common evening habit that can quietly undo all of this effort. How and when you hydrate. When you drink water, it does not leave your body instantly. It must be filtered by the kidneys, a process that takes time. Your body is also less efficient at moving large volumes of fluid once you are lying flat. Drinking large amounts of water right before bed almost guarantees that fluid will settle, by gravity, in your lower legs. For this reason, a strict 3-hour fluid cutoff before your designated lights-out time is essential. If your goal is to be asleep by 10 p.m., your final substantial intake of fluids should be no later than 7 p.m. That means stopping the large glass of water, herbal tea, or any other beverages. The only exception is a small sip needed to swallow the supplements used in Step 7. By respecting this cutoff, you give your kidneys a full 3-hour window to complete their final fluid regulation phase while you are still upright. This timing allows excess fluid to be processed and eliminated before you lie down, when gravity begins working against venous return. At this stage, we are ready for internal systemic repair. Everything we have done so far has focused on drainage and restoring mechanical tone. But the deeper cause of chronic swelling is often chronic venous insufficiency, a condition in which capillary walls become weak, porous, and leaky. To address this, we need a pharmaceutical-grade natural intervention. This 2-part combination is the most scientifically supported natural therapy for chronic venous insufficiency and edema. The first component is horse chestnut seed extract, commonly abbreviated as HCSE. This is the clinical cornerstone. HCSE contains a compound called essin, which has been shown to significantly seal capillary walls, reducing permeability and fluid leakage. It also stimulates prostaglandin release, improving venous tone. A high-quality product standardized to 50 milligrams of essin is essential. Take 300 milligrams of HCSE with your final small sip of water. The second component is pycnogenol, a pine bark extract. This acts as the support agent. Pycnogenol is a potent antioxidant that strengthens the collagen matrix surrounding blood vessels, improves microcirculation, and exerts strong anti-inflammatory effects. Together, these two compounds work synergistically to repair and reinforce the vascular structure. Take 100 milligrams of pycnogenol. Why take these at night? During deep sleep cycles, the body shifts into repair mode. By taking this venotonic combination just before bed, you supply the vascular system with the raw materials it needs precisely when the body is most receptive to healing. This is how you transition from nightly symptom control to long-term resolution of edema. Have you ever noticed how some habits help in the moment but fail to fix the underlying problem? This step is about repairing the cause, not just managing the result. That completes the definitive 7-step protocol. You are now equipped. But before you fully relax, there is one common habit that can instantly undo much of this circulatory work: crossing your legs. Whether sitting on the couch or lying on your side with one leg draped over the other, crossing your legs creates a physical clamp. It kinks the major femoral artery and vein, which are responsible for returning blood and fluid from the legs back to the heart. The moment this pathway is compressed, stagnation begins. Tonight, make a conscious effort to keep your feet flat and your legs parallel. If you sleep on your side, place a thick body pillow between your knees. This keeps the knees, ankles, and hips aligned, ensuring the femoral vessels remain open and unobstructed. This is the final protective step, maintaining an open pathway. You have cleaned the pipes. Now you must keep the flow uninterrupted. You now have the complete vascular revival protocol: the magnesium, potassium flush, the 60-second ice shock, the 5-minute wall pump, the cypress, rosemary venous massage, proper low-grade compression, the 3-hour fluid cutoff, and targeted vascular repair with HCSE and pycnogenol. This is not magic. This is applied vascular science. Edema is reversible, and you now have a clear, actionable nightly plan. Implement these 7 steps starting tonight. Do not delay. Your comfort and long-term circulatory health depend on it. And if you want to understand the 3 everyday foods that silently damage vascular elasticity and fuel chronic inflammation, make sure to watch the next video. That is the critical next step toward permanent relief.